Today I'm lucky enough to be talking to the CEO of Mediocre Films, whose stock has been rising steadily and whose interweb TV sketches recently topped 100 million views. That's a lot of laughs.
That's crazy. That's a crazy number. That number doesn't even mean anything.
Welcome to Greg Benson.
Thank you. That's me. Thank you very much. It's
So,
a pleasure to be here, Higlet.
it's great to see you at last, Greg. Well,
So the first question that I have for you, because I have so many questions, is where did the name Higlet come from?
Did we get this wrong? Oh, well, yeah, I can totally answer that, actually.
Right.
Higlet is Higlet. That's Higlet. And I wrote children's books about Higlet called The World of Higlet.
I would like to read those books.
You know, they didn't quite make it into print. and maybe you could interpret them in a web video. That would be amazing.
Could make a whole series of Higlet, like the biggest hit series ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So do you think we could start with a potted history of Greg?
Born and raised in Dallas, Texas. That's why I have this outrageous accent. I lived in Texas for the first half of my life. So started acting when I was 7 years old because I was hyperactive as a kid. And my parents needed something to do with me in the summers to get me out of the house. So they put me into summer theater classes. Right. And I went to the Dallas Theater Center and started performing there and just fell in love with it from the first moment. It was so much fun. And continued acting through high school and was a thespian, insert joke here. And so I went to college and a University of Texas in Austin, one of the best cities in the country. It's really a great city, and started performing in commercials and training videos and really whatever acting work I could get. I got my first agents in Austin, and then after school moved out to LA, and so I was out here at the beginning of 1991. Well, I got a job waiting tables because that's what actors do when they move to LA. Did that for a month and realized that if I spent as much time pursuing acting as I did, waiting tables, then things would probably work out okay. So I got myself fired, which is a fun way to leave a job, and then I basically treated my acting career like it was a full-time job, and I spent a good 40 to 60 hours a week just getting out there and meeting people and getting as many, crashing auditions. And before I knew it, it actually did turn into work. And I was able to support myself as an actor and found my niche, which was, at first it was doing industrial training videos. And then it got to be commercials. And I started to do TV commercials. And I ended up doing well over 100 commercials, most of them national. And that worked out really nicely. And then I wanted to do something creative that was not, just me showing up to do commercials. Something I wanted to start writing and performing my own comedy sketches. So I did, and I did that at public access TV studios. Yeah. I had a Hi8 camera, which back in the early 90s was kind of a top of the line, personal camera. And I shot sketches on location, and then I would go to public access TV studios and use their editing facilities and edit on 3/4-inch tape decks to make 28.5-minute shows called Skip TV, and I made a dozen of them, and they were seen by tens of people.
That many? Tens?
I had an enormous following. One time, one guy even came up to me in a record store, and he said, "Hey, I recognize you for Skip TV," and I'm like, "Wow, you're one of the tens of people who sat at home on a Saturday night at 10:30 and watched my show."
You've put some of those Skip TV sketches on YouTube, haven't you?
Yes, I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but I did. Yeah, I thought.
Well,
it would
I
be
enjoyed
fun.
them.
Oh, good. Thanks. I thought it'd be fun to share some of those early sketches on my second channel, which is Mediocre Films 2, which has for a while I was doing daily videos, and I might do them again. I was thinking I might do them again come July. That's next month, isn't it? I'm talking to no one right now. Isn't it next month? Yes, that's next month, so you could do it then. All right, I think I'll do that. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. So basically, then continued the acting and got into film and TV parts as well, and continued doing commercials, and it went quite well. I've been very lucky. I've been been able to save up enough to buy a home, and in LA that's not such an easy thing to do, and then after a while I decided to get back into shooting comedy sketches again and short films, and I joined a group called Group 101 Films, which I believe doesn't exist anymore, but the whole idea there was that anybody could join it, and you just needed to commit to making one video per month, and then we'd get together and show the videos. After 4 or 5 months, I had 4 or 5 shorts. The first one I did was called Warren. The first one I directed, that is. I'd done another one called The Date that I didn't direct. So I started to do one short a month. I did, Warren and Sexy Panda and Phone Call to God. I think those were the first 3 actually that I did, and Greg Hits Hollywood, and then I put them up on my own website, which is mediocrefilms.com. And after a while, Kim said to me that I needed to put them up on YouTube. Now, I had met Kim when I was doing live, writing and performing live comedy sketches at a theater called the Acme Comedy Theater. She was in a different sketch writing class, and I was in one, she was in another, and I went to see her show, and she was hilarious. And the first or second thing I ever saw her in my life was she was performing Kiko for her brand new sketch, Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Ship, which was so funny.
Oh.
And I didn't know who she was. All I knew was that she was hilarious, and I think that was the first thing I saw her in, so I didn't know, like, is she an exchange student who just came over? I mean, does she speak English? Does she have an accent? To me, it was so crazy and real that I didn't know what was going on. And I met her after the show, and I said, "You're so funny." And I told her my name, and she goes, "Oh, I've heard of you. You're funny." Because she heard from one of the other classes. So then, before you know it, we became friends, and we started to write together, and we were... we kind of started as writing partners, and we were just friends, at Acme, and then fell in love, and the rest is...
It's romantic.
So after a while, it was Kim who taught me. She talked me into getting on MySpace. She talked me into getting on YouTube, and I thought, YouTube is just... At the time, it was just kids lip syncing to songs and making dumb little videos. And I thought my stuff's not going to do well at YouTube, and but she talked me into it. And I put my stuff up there. I put like half a dozen videos to start off with. And within a few weeks, Greg Hits Hollywood was featured on the front page of YouTube. All of a sudden, all these new subscribers found Mediocre Films. And then I started to have people, asking, well, when's the next video? And I thought, oh, okay, well, now there's an audience waiting. And at the time, maybe it was, 500 people or 1,000 people, my first subscribers on the channel, waiting for the next short. And luckily, I was still in Group 101, and I was making one video per month. And so I started putting them up regularly, and I started making videos expressly for YouTube. And then Kim said, why don't we do Gorgeous Tiny, let's shoot the pilot of Gorgeous Tiny, and for Mediocre Films. And at first, I said I wasn't really sure. I wasn't sure if I could do it justice. And then before you knew it, we finally shot Gorgeous Tiny. Kim hired a friend of hers, paid her friend a couple $100 to build a set out in the back room, and it's a small room. It's really just tiny, and. You'd never really know that by watching the show, but you can barely fit in, 4 or 5 people to this set. We shot it. It took me a long time to cut it together because it was a very different style for me, and it was there were just an awful lot of effects cues, music and sound effects and things, and put it up, and then YouTube featured that on the front page also, and then that's when things really started going as far as in a professional sense.